the programs, we will explain them the programs, and they are supposed to execute and understand what is concurrency, what is multi-threading, and why to use synchronization. So here time duration is only 2 hours. So in that we can take 2 programs. That is, first one is to create a thread 1 or 2, or we can say to create a thread A and thread B to print the numbers 1 to 5. So simple program to create the numbers 1 to 5 and ask them to run. So they will find that they are getting the different output whenever they are running that programs again and again. So we have to explain them that how the operating system is taking control to display the output. That is, for the thread A, if we have written the program to display, to print 1 2 3 4 5 numbers for thread A and thread B also. So once they may get the output as from the thread A 1 2, after that they may get the output as thread B 1 2, then again the next execution 3 thread A 3 4, and depending on the operating system's policy. So that we have to explain to the students that how operating system is executing the output. So that is the first experiment. And in the second experiment, we have to tell them that if the threads are working on a single object, how there will be a inconsistency problem. So to prevent that inconsistency problem, we have to explain them the use of synchronization. That is, to prevent the inconsistency, the synchronization is used. So by using the synchronize keyword, then we will be able to display the output in our own way, not the operating system will decide. So that's, these 2 programs are suggested. And the next is textbooks. Textbooks, you can use Balguru Swami and Complete Reference for this, and there are number of web references. Some of that I have given here, but there are lots of references. You can take that. But here in this module, it is expected that we will do it, explain them, and they will simply execute that and will try to understand that. That's it for that module 4. Over to you, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. So now module 5 of the subject is about the, can you go to the previous slide? Yeah, it is about the runtime program management. Although this is a very large topic, we are only concentrating on the exception handling part of it, and we are not going to go into the details of this topic due to the limitations of number of practical hours that we have. And the major important module of the syllabus is the module 6, where we want student to learn how in different programming paradigms one solution can be obtained from the for one particular problem, a solution can be obtained using different programming paradigms. So we have given some space for runtime program management, but only 2 hours we could manage to give for understanding exception handling. So here, ma'am, can you go ahead? Next slide. Yeah, here we actually try to make student understand the need and the use of exception handling and garbage collection in C++ and Java. Here we want student to actually, after understanding the concept of garbage collection, so by the time this module is cover, most of the Java programming skill lab part, they must have taken the exception handling. So what we expect and Java, how does the garbage collection occurs in these different programming language, although both are object oriented programming language, still in these languages, what are the similarities and differences in the same concept called as exception handling? This is what the focus of the module is. Can you go ahead, ma'am? Next slide. Yeah. So we can design as a faculty member an experiment to understand the concept of exception handling and garbage collection in a single program, and that single experiment would be actually executed in C, implemented in C++ also and in Java also. In order to bring out the different ways of implementing exceptions in C++ and Java. As a reference for this particular thing, you can refer to various online resources like tutorial points or Java point for understanding exception handling, and basically the different ways in which these two object-oriented programming languages handle the exception. So the basic importance here has to be stressed upon is students should in one experiment be given two code, one in C++, one in Java, and that should be given. I'm not saying they should implement themselves. So as a designer of this particular module, faculty members should choose such a implementation solution which will highlight the exception handling features of C++ as well as Java and the differences among them. You will get definitely many examples explaining these things on net, and we will also share such things over. So we are going to actually make a drive wherein we are going to share the ebooks as well as the other resources related to the subject, like where you will find the necessary program codes, where you will find the necessary solution to exercises in the book, etc. During that through that particular e-content delivery, we can actually give you those particular things. Okay, right now we can proceed to module number 6. Deepali ma'am.
Thank you, sir. So module number 6 is programming assignment for comparative study of different paradigms. Next, so it will.
Madam, your voice is low, madam.
Yeah. So it maps to the level 6. The arrow is a little bit wrong. So it will compare the implementation in multiple paradigms at coding and execution level. Next slide, ma'am. So what we expect over here is you can form a group of 2 or 3 students and take one example and tell these 2 or 3 students to implement the same example in multiple paradigms, and then let them come up with a comparative study as how that program is working in different paradigms, like the same program working in procedural, if written in a procedural way, if written in object oriented way, if written in a functional way, and all, and let them compare. No need of very large or big program, but there can be a simple small programs which the students can perform in a group. Next slide, ma'am. So here is a simple example. Suppose I want to print the square of a number. So this is something, this is for sample only. This is something which is written in procedural. Next slide, ma'am. Same concept, how it is implemented in object oriented. Next slide, ma'am. And same concept, how it will be implemented using a functional language. So you can, so all these three things will be implemented by 3 different students, and then they will come up and they will identify what is the difference, implementation difference, whether it is taking, they can find out even runtime, how much runtime that program is taking in different paradigms, and a comparative study kind of thing they can come up with for what kind of problem, which kind of paradigm is most suitable. So that exercise, that assignment can be submitted by the students. So you can form a group of 2 or 3 depending on your batch and how do you form the groups in your institutes, and you can make them work on this. Fine. Now next I'll call Prachi for the evaluation.
Yeah, before
Thank you,
Prachi ma'am,
Deepali.
Prachi ma'am,
Okay.
can I actually, sorry
Yes.
to interrupt you. Deepali ma'am has nicely explained the module 6, but Ranjita ma'am, can you go back to the module 6 first slide? First
One.
After this. Next.
After Bloom's,
Next. Yeah. Contents. So what exactly here we have to do is, ma'am has already explained, but I would like to point out this particular reference. So this reference has many programming tasks. Many of you might already know that this reference has many programming tasks implemented in various programming languages, and by various I mean different paradigms and different programming language of same paradigms as well. Hundreds of programming language solutions for every problem you will find out. The example that ma'am has shown over here is just to give a glimpse of how a same problem can be solved in different programming language. When I say student group of 2 or 3 students are going to perform 2 tasks over here, if you see the syllabus, you will find out that 2 programs are supposed to be completed. So we are terming this particular module as a programming assignment. So if you see the syllabus, there are no assignments mentioned anywhere in the particular syllabus, and generally we have a habit of having 2 assignments covering the entire syllabus. So the idea of module 6 is to have a programming assignment that will involve 2 programming assignments solved as a group in order to bring out the features of different programming paradigms that the students have learned in the theory as well as in the practical. So that's the most that's the way this particular problems given to the students. So problems might not be very large problems wherein student have to write too many lines of codes. The lines of codes here are not important. The importance is the problem chosen should be very good for solving in a particular paradigm, but not that much good for some other paradigm. So while choosing the problems, you should be as a faculty member, keep in mind that you should choose a problem that is good for declarative paradigm to solve and not so easy to solve in the other paradigm. And one problem you should choose such that it is easier to solve in imperative or object oriented and not that much in the other. So there is no insistence as such के 2 paradigms ही में उसको implement करना या 3 paradigm में implement करना है, but at least student should have a feel that some problems are good to be solved in a particular paradigm and some problems are good to be solved using some other paradigm. So here the idea should be there in students' mind that whenever he wants to use certain style of programming, it is mapped to a certain mapped to a certain paradigm. Okay, so that is what I wanted to add. Sorry, ma'am, I interrupted you. Prachi, ma'am, you can go ahead. Yeah. Now, Prachi, ma'am will discuss the
Evaluation.
Okay.
Here means in actually the 6th module, it is entirely on the presentation, the idea presentation by the students, and that's why that presentation can be in a group of 3 where they have worked on the same problem in different paradigms. So that way you can make it as a assignment. Thank you. Haan, Prachi, you can continue.
Thank you, Deepali ma'am. Let's go for the evaluation. So as we are discussed in the scheme, 25 marks are assigned for term work and 25 marks are assigned for practical and oral. Okay, so 25 marks of term work are divided like there will be total 15 experiments apart from tutorial and assignments. So just now Anup sir has discussed about the programming assignments that will be based on the module 6 totally. 3 tutorials that are based on module 2 and module 3, 2 from functional programming and 1 from logical programming. So likewise 3 tutorials will be there and 2 programming assignments will be there, and apart from that 15 separate experiments are there. So 15 marks are assigned for experiments, 5 marks are for programming assignments, 5 marks are for attendance. And for coming to the exam, that is practical and oral, 25 marks are assigned. There will be 1 hour practical exam based on the whatever experiments you have conducted throughout the semester in your lab. This practical plus oral. So here the focus should be given to module 2 and module 3 as our subject is more focused towards functional and logical programming. So whatever programs you are taking up for the practical exam, so you keep in mind that your focus should be more towards module 2 and module 3. Over to you, Anup sir.
Sir, I would just like to add one point here. As Prachi madam rightly said, module 2 and module 3 from CPPL modules. We are referring to list of modules from CPPL now.
Yeah.
And
From
in in PCPF theory, they are actually module 3 and module 4, just to avoid confusion.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt you, ma'am.
So that is functional and logical programming. It's good to
Thank
take
you,
the
ma'am.
name of the module. Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am. Over to you, Anup sir.
Anup sir.
Yeah, I guess Deepali ma'am was supposed to say about the e-content
Yeah,
generation.
I'll talk about e-content generation. Yeah, thank you, sir.
Yeah.
So for this, as this is a new subject and every one of us are may find it a little bit comfortable with one module, but may not find comfortable with another module. Same thing can happen with the students. So what is, as a member, our suggestion was that we
Voice is too low, madam.
yeah.